Hello crafty friends, today I am pulling out this paper pack celebrating you, and I had kind of originally written it off as far as something that I would be using just because it's so birthday themed. But then as I was really getting into it, and I'll show you these papers, this is front and back. These are neutral enough that they don't have anything to do with birthday. This one has to do with birthday and wishes, but the back side is beautiful. There are this little square that has some cupcakes and presents in it, but I don't think that you would see that when you're creating. Now these two, this is the front and back. This has little presents in it, and this says celebrating you, best day ever, eat cake. So that one's probably going to need to be on a specific layout. This is gorgeous. The back side has the cakes and candles and presents. Not going to use that, but I would have two of these. Could you see a double layout like that? Me too. And then these plaids and stripes, definitely generic enough that I can use these in any layout. Balloons, not so much. And then these are just little fun kind of bursts of bubbles, but again, wouldn't have to be celebrated with a birthday. So back last year, I gave my mom an album for Mother's Day of many of her photos from when she was kind of an adolescence. And as I've been going into my photos again, I've been finding more of my mom as she's younger. So the album that I did for my mom for Mother's Day, I chose kind of a thread of blue and green. In Glacier Lagoon, I was using the In Full Bloom paper pack at that time, along with the Miracle paper pack. So again, just those blue and green tones. So I think I can easily find some blue and green papers and make a fun layout with my granddad holding his daughter. So let me gather some supplies. I do have all the ink colors: Glacier, Sapphire, Lagoon, Pewter, and Honey Butter. But let me go gather some things that I want to decorate this with. When I did that album for my mom, I had some charcoal, I believe, these that went on every page, and then I also had the film strip cut out that came from In Full Bloom. So I will gather some of those so that this page will work right into that album of moms. I'll be right back. I'm back again. Off camera, I went ahead and I got that As You Soar, I think, stamp set, and I wanted to do two airplanes coming into both sides of my granddad and mom in the photo. And I'm using the airplanes. Normally you wouldn't think that they would work on a page with a baby, but my grandfather in the Army was a airplane mechanic, so I thought that those were kind of appropriate. And I don't know if you noticed there, to get the mirrored image stamping, it's not always as clear, but I stamped first on an acrylic block, and then the ink that was on the block I then stamped onto the cutout of the plane. Off camera again, I also matted these photos with the Sundance, I believe it might be Honey Butter, white, and then Lagoon cardstock. And I know that I'm going to put some sort of vertical stripe underneath the photos. That's why I moved them all down. It's not a full frame. Because my vision that I'm thinking is I'm going to have clouds that are in the peach color. And I chose the peach color as an accent, even though it's not a part of the Celebrating You paper packs, because I have these embellishments, these dots from the Daisy Meadow. It was a paper pack a couple of years ago, and it had the peach along with the Lagoon and the Sapphire, I believe, inks as well, and Glacier. So it was great. It had the Honey Butter, or actually Canary color in with those dots. So that's kind of what's my inspiration for these color combinations. And then this it's a strip of rainbows, and you can't necessarily tell, but it's going right at the bottom of the stripe paper. The stripe where I cut it happened to be a white space, so now right at the bottom of this white paper I am putting these rainbow borders that came from that airplane stamp set and thin cut. And now I'm going to show you, I inked the edges of all the clouds with a little bit of the peach ink, and I'm kind of from one side, like the left side I inked from the top left edge, and the ones that'll go on the right side I inked from the top right edge. And that's just to kind of like the sun is in the middle where the Sweet Memories title is, kind of radiating out. That's my light source, if that makes any sense. It's subtle to see on the video here, but in real life it really does give some more warmth and interest to this page. And I'm just kind of placing them. Previously I would have had to place each one of these individually and play with them, and I just kind of figured with the plane on there I would be able to make a good cloud formation and not have to obsess about it. So, and what I'm trying to do is to bring some more of that lagoon color down into the bottom part of this layout, because I stamped the Sweet Memory title, and that again was from an old stamp set from Close to My Heart. It was actually a constant campaign stamp, Happy Times, and then the father and daughter came from its relative or relative stamp set that just had words of cousins, father, uncle, all of that. And I just put those on little lagoon cardstock to bring the title down, or that color down into the bottom. And here again, just as a reminder to make these pages coordinate with the book that I've already given my mom, I'm making sure to include that lacy Doyle scalloped edge and some of these flowers. I chose not to use the film strip in this layout, but again, this will slip into the album I already gave my mom last year for Mother's Day, and it will coordinate right along with everything else that's already there. And as I'm looking and putting these leaves in, it's kind of funny, I'm realizing that I've brought the lagoon color to the bottom, but I need to bring that peach color up to the top, and I'm not sure how I was going to do these dots around the page. I was thinking random dots would kind of look silly, and so was I going to do them in a line, and then I need to bring that peach color up, so here is how I resolved that. And this is all that this layout needs. 2 photos, kind of triple matted, with the focus of the airplanes and the clouds. I was really pleased with how that all turned out. So here's how you can connect with me on Facebook and social media. If you want to help me out, go ahead and like my video. That would be great. Here's another video that you may be interested in. It's kind of along the same lines of here, and YouTube picks that for you based on what videos you like. I do have a crafting group, and you can check out all of that in the description for the supplies list.